Hello, and welcome to our podcast, Where the Dark Corners Are. Hello, hello. I am Vina, and I am your Dark Travels hostess. Tonight, it's actually a full house, starting with the Panda. Road trip. No, wrong one. However. Oh, not that one either.
Oh
Hello.
my god. Should have hijacked it.
Serial kill.
Road trip with the Panda.
See, you rarely hear these days. I can't remember which one it is, but either way. And we have the polar bear. Hello, bear,
Whoa,
bear.
polar bear.
And Slashes with Samantha.
Hello, hello.
So it's definitely a full house today. Today, we're going to recognize a very... Is it a toy? Is it not a toy?
It's the devil's toy.
It's definitely not.
It's not a toy.
But it's been around for quite some time. And every year, it just seems like the curiosity is still there. And so the question is the toy is not a toy, is it real? It's kind of the original spirit box, if you will. And of course, I'm talking about the Ouija board.
The what?
The Ouija board.
The Ouija?
The
Are we
Ouija.
going with Ouija?
I think we're just gonna
Ouija
roll
board.
with whatever we feel feels right.
I say
What's
Ouija.
the other?
Ouija.
Ouija.
Ouija? Okay.
Ouija. Yeah.
Well, there's an A at the end.
There's also no W in there either. Yet we say we.
Yeah, well.
Oh, all of a sudden.
Ouija.
Ouija. Yeah, see? So.
Anyways. All right. So today we're going to discuss a little bit of history. We're going to discuss some rules if you choose to play, using air quotes, with it. And maybe to hopefully temper off any ideas of playing with it, we're going to share a couple of Ouija board stories that are floating around the internet. So to kick us off is Slashers with Samantha.
So, for those that don't know, Ouija boards are these little rectangle boards with the numbers 0 through 9, the letters of the alphabet, the words yes, no, hello, goodbye, and other symbols on them. You lightly place your fingers, you and your group lightly place your fingers on the planchette, which is a little plastic, heart-looking
I
thing.
didn't know how to say it. I read it and I was like, I don't know how to say it, so I'm gonna keep it out
Planchette.
of my.
It's like an upside down heart shaped
Right.
scenario with the opening.
It's like
Right.
the
Guitar
Airbnb
pick.
logo.
So you put your fingers on that, and then it's supposed to be, the spirits are supposed to help you move it so that you can answer questions and get predictions and whatnot.
Or make contact with the other world for these.
Right. And so these have been known as spirit boards, like you said. They've been known as the talking boards, the magical talking boards. They were actually created in 1981. Advertisements for Ouija, the wonderful talking board, started popping up in Pittsburgh. They could be found in toy and novelty shops, and they were described as magical devices that answered questions about the past, present, and future. Anybody want to guess how much they costed? Is that the right word?
Cost. How much they cost.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Costed. I'm in the middle of midterms. I'm so brain dead. You're just lucky I'm here.
What, in the 80s? Right? Probably $1.
1891.
25
Oh,
cents.
1891. A nickel.
You get 10 cents.
A nickel.
10 cents.
You were actually closer with your original guest, $1.50.
Oh, wow. For back then?
Dang,
Uh-huh.
that's expensive.
Wow, that's a lot.
Right? It was
Jeez.
very fancy, yeah.
Well, it's a spiritual Google.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, so part of the reason that this could have been made, or why it was so expensive, was because they came popular during the height of spiritualism, like the rage of spiritualism in the 19th century in America. So fun fact, actually, when they went to the patent office to get this patented, they had to prove that the box or that these little talking boards worked. I don't know how they did that, but that is specifically what it said. They had to prove it before they could proceed with their patent. So, Ouija boards were originally manufactured by the Kinnard Novelty Company, founded by Charles Kinnard, Elijah Bond, and Washington Bowie in 1886. So they said that the board got its name when Kinnard and Bond had a seance with Bond's sister-in-law, who was a medium, and during that session, they asked the board what it should be named. It spelt out Ouija, and they asked it what it meant, and it said good luck.
As in how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
And not dying. I mean, whatevs. So in 1893, Kinnard and Bond were out. They left the company. They left William Funn to run the show. And in 1944, a single New York department store sold 15,000 of these boards.
Holy fuck.
Jeez.
In 1967, the year after Parker Brothers bought the game from the Fold Company, 2 million boards were sold, outselling Monopoly.
Wow.
Kind of
It's a
interesting
lot of
stuff.
spirits coming in.
Well, the thing is I think Monopoly has been a consistent bestseller
Yeah, that
for
was
decades.
That was crazy for it to outsell Monopoly.
Right.
So another reason that I read that it was created because it came out around just a little after American Civil War, so it was kind of playing on people's feelings. Like somebody's husband, somebody's brother passed away, so they were trying to make contact with the spirits of.
Which would play in
Their
as to
deceased
why
ones.
it skyrocketed right after World War II or during
Mhm.
World War II, because they're trying to reach out to their beloved deceased family members.
Right.
Right, trying to find closure.
Right. Like where, how did you die? Because sometimes we don't know, especially in war, how somebody dies.
Well, and spiritualism has always been a big part of American culture. So, one example, obviously, is the Winchester house. Like, she was so terrified that she had ghosts coming after her because of what her family had done, so to speak.
With the Winchester rifle being a fast action rifle.
Right, a murder weapon.
Correct.
So, she built this whole house because she was terrified of ghosts. And we were seeing a lot more seances pop up and fortune tellers and all kinds of little shops in these older towns where people were really getting into it. We had societies for cyclical
Well, not only that,
research.
I mean, they had Houdini. Houdini himself was promoting spiritualism, and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, who we all know is the wonderful author of
Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes.
Which would be a fascinating episode at some point to talk about spiritualism, because Houdini was kind of back and forth. Like, he was kind of a skeptic, but he was a skeptic because he played on the spiritualism and in his illusions and whatnot.
Right.
So
Yeah, he challenged the idea of everything about it. So
it's really interesting stuff.
So it's my understanding when we play, or maybe we just playing us, depending on how you look at it.
I've never played it. I have never will play with the Ouija board.
Your mother raised you right then.
Did you play with one?
Yes.
Oh, me too.
What?
Okay,
Yes.
so like legit, I'm Catholic, and my dad raised me, and he was like, if you do anything with spirits, you're gonna die, and you're going to go to hell, and they're gonna possess you. So I was like terrified, but I distinctively remember one time he wasn't home.
You're like, bet.
Yeah, I was like, because I'm a rebel, right? So I had to play the Ouija board, and I pretended to get possessed, and my friend straight punched me in the chest, and I don't think we ever played with it again.
Well, some of us didn't have those kind of problems, but when I was, I think, must have been 7th grade. Why are you making?
Because you're like, oh, I raised him so right, and then all of a sudden she tells me this truth that
Well, I
she
learned.
fucked around with this Ouija board.
Okay, but didn't everybody?
No,
light
I
us
didn't.
another- Okay,
I
but
didn't
but you're
touch
not
it.
girls.
No, he
like
was
in girls'
told, "Don't ever."
sleepovers.
No, you didn't tell me shit. I just went on my own experience. Was all fuck no. But
Well, that was
I'm
wise.
I'm not giving the spirits a single chance. Sometimes I might ask a little help every now and then, but that was the one.
That's when
I'm
you pray
not.
to the angels and your guides.
Yeah, sure. Whoever shows up, I guess.
Okay. Hello, Michael. I'm Satan. I'm here to answer all your
Yeah.
wishes. No, I think it was 7th grade. I somehow had a small group of girl friends. We would go over to one of our friends' house because I was like, I know this is real. It's not happening at my house. So we would go to her house, and when I asked the board to spell out my fourth grade teacher's name, and it did, that's when I knew it was real. But I also kind of got the impression that the entity was reading or feeding off of our subconscious, because I do remember thinking of what the teacher's name was. And, you know, I think whatever it was that answered knew how to spell out what her name was. I don't think they know our lives, but they could definitely read our conscious thoughts at that time. So it's kind of like, I think it's actually kind of one of the rules now is to keep a blank mind. Keep your mind closed or not think of things. It's kind of like at the end of Ghostbusters, clear your mind. Don't think of a monster. And who does he think of? Stay Puff.
Yeah.
Stay Puff guy.
Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Yeah.
So I hear you. We either had a mind-reading ghost or a friend that also knew your fourth grade teacher's name.
And that would be a viable option, but I had moved to Sacramento after the fourth grade, and I never told anybody.
Well, that's creepier.
Yeah.
I'm still a skeptic.
That's the thing is like every Ouija story you hear, you're always going to be a skeptic because until you get your own
Experience.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want my own either.
Right, I was just going to say, I'm good now.
I'm good, yeah,
having my
I don't
own.
want one.
So it's my understanding there are rules, quote unquote rules.
Yeah, there were a lot out there. I just took like the top 10 that I could find. So number 1 is always be respectful. Don't provoke the spirits. So AKA don't pull Zach Bagans and like yell at them or challenge them or tell them to fuck with you. Number 2, use it in a dark and quiet place. It creates a quiet canvas for the spirit to enter. Number 3.
Enter is the key word there, guys.
Yeah, I don't love that.
Enter.
Number 3, don't believe everything a spirit says. Apparently ghosts may be liars. Who knows? 4, never use the Ouija board alone. See, I did Ouija and Ouija. It's just
So
going to
you go
happen.
back and forth.
Right?
So
It's
you-
just going to happen. Anyway, never
I
use
feel
it
like
alone.
there's a fight inside of you that you need to figure out.
I do caramel and caramel all the time, so I mean,
So, number 4, never use the Ouija board alone or at all. And if you do, there should be at least 2 participants. Number 5 is assign a leader and have them ask all of the questions. Another side tip was to pre-select your questions and then keep track of the answers.
That's a good idea.
Right? They said like just to have it like be more structured, it's kind of helpful. And then they said always take notes, and I was like, I'm not taking notes. I'd be scared to death. Number 6, never use the Ouija board in your house. Try to find a neutral location. Also, who wants that shit in their home? I don't know. Literally, you are asking to be haunted.
Well, that's why I was like, you want to do it at your house? No problem.
No. Also, don't use it in a graveyard. Apparently, it's like a party line vibe. So if you go to a graveyard, like 15 of them are just going to be screaming over the top of each other. So that's terrifying.
Climbing over each other to get away from the whatever shows up.
right.
Not good. Number 7 is never use the Ouija board when you're ill or weak. And that's because it makes you even more susceptible to possession. But I'd argue also just don't use one.
Yeah.
So, number 8, a Ouija board must be closed after use. This means saying goodbye to whatever spirits that you may have contacted and properly storing the board, or the spirits can stay behind to fuck with you, essentially.
But also, I think you want to move it over the word goodbye to close it out.
They also say that you need to say goodbye immediately if the following things happen. So if a figure 8 or an infinity symbol is drawn on the board, if the entity identifies themselves as Zozo, if the spirit starts counting down, or if the spirit starts spelling the alphabet.
Those are your.
Spelling the word alphabet or just going ABC?
Like going ABC.
Okay.
What if they're drunk and going backwards? Z.
Then
Why?
that's a real demon.
If you like Google his name, he has like 9 DUIs.
Whoops.
Number 9 is do not leave the planchette on the board. This is considered to be bad luck and dangerous, even if you're just stepping away from the board for a second. So when it's left on the board, the door to the paranatural remains fully open. So if you want to step away and take a break, someone should always have their hand on the planchette. And then 10 is that the Ouija board must be disposed of properly, but you cannot apparently burn it. So you should store it away where no one can get it and make sure that the planchette is in a separate location.
Okay.
Disassemble it.
Yeah, I
essentially.
mean, you've seen them like in the movies break them in half and then throw it in a fireplace, you know.
This
Yeah,
is
it
like
said
the
do
wrong
not
idea.
do that.
Yeah.
Right.
One site said have a campfire and then after you're done, throw it in the fire. The other one's like, do not throw it in fire. And I'm like, I just don't know what to do.
I think the fear is if you burn it, you're releasing whatever was
Attached to it.
correct.
Yeah, I think the fire one said that, if I remember correctly, that if you burn it, then you're trapping them. So because like you opened it and you let them through, then like when you burn it, you trap that spirit where they are. And I'm like, well, weren't they already there?
I don't know.
Mm. Maybe they have to give a tether themselves to the planchette, whatever the hell the thing's called.
Well, you know, it always kills me that, you know, they do actually sell carpet rugs of the Ouija board.
Mm.
And there's always that now running joke of the Roombas moving around.
Oh, gosh.
That's funny.
One giant.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
God.
No one needs that.
No.
My Roomba's
ghost in my
going
front door.
ABCs. Yeah.
Like the bigger the planchette, the bigger the spirit, or what? I mean, does it matter? Does size matter?
I don't know.
'Cause I mean, it matters most
to the spirit
times.
world. Yeah.
And in human world, it kind of does.
Right?
Jesus Christ.
Ew.
A lot of stories also have a lot of salt circles too. I don't know. The ones I saw, they had a lot of salt circles. That's supposed to keep the
for protection.
Yeah.
to keep the demons or spirits that want to do harm away. But the good ones can make it through. I'm not sure the rules. It's like the border patrol, I guess.
Did you do your research on Hocus Pocus 2?
No, I didn't watch. I didn't even watch
Was
that
there
movie
salt
yet.
Circles?
Is
I
there?
they
Well, that
had
was,
Oh,
in,
that
that
was in
was
the
in
first
the
one, too.
first
Yeah,
one.
that's the
Yeah,
first
she
one, too,
grabs
yeah.
the salt and she starts spinning
And they
it
just
around
go right through it.
Not
Well,
in the
they
second
can't
one.
walk
apparently.
through
Oh,
it, but
really?
they
The
can
second
knock you over.
I don't remember.
We're gonna have to watch this.
I was
Go
gonna say,
watch
it's in
'em.
Supernatural too, though, right? Salt
Well,
circles.
Supernatural
Yeah.
is a lot of salt
I
circles
love
now.
Supernatural. Dean.
Haven't seen it.
What?
Yeah, I haven't really
Watch
seen
it
either.
just for Dean's tight pants
Oh, okay.
and his badass car.
Priorities, apparently.
Trust me.
Dean's the long hair one?
No, that's Sam.
Oh, you mean Soldier Boy?
Soldier Boy.
I like the one that I like when he sings. What is it? Long Lost Son or
Mhm.
that song? Yeah.
Yes.
It's actually really good, Vinny. You have to try it out.
Okay. Okay, so to kind of maybe deter any hope or thoughts of checking it out, especially this Halloween, we have some stories that we'd like to share of Ouija or Wiki, whatever, gone
Oh,
bad.
you're just going down.
So, Panda Bear, you want to kick us off?
Is that a word? Panda. It is a panda bear.
Did you almost say polar bear again?
Yeah.
No.
I don't know. I don't know what's happening.
You know, I don't know what to say.
You have too many bears on the dance floor or in the car. Yeah. So one of the stories I found was on Reddit. To his username being throwaway Ouija.
That's not a warning.
That's just wow. And I'm assuming he threw his away afterwards. Well, actually, I would have kept it after this one because then you could find out so much more. So allegedly, this man got the prediction of Princess Diana's death. In quotes, that I messed around with the Ouija in pairs and solo for a period of about 2 years.
Broke the rules already.
Yeah. Experienced a lot of strange shit. Now, the craziest story, swear it's true. He swears it. In 1997, one day I challenged the board and said, give me something independent to verify all the information it was giving to me. Predict a news event. Tell me something that's going to happen. It starts moving strange, like it's having a hard time telling me something. I'm paraphrasing here since it was a long time ago, but the exchange went something like this. Die, 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 die. Now every other die is D-I, and the next one is D-I-E. I'm like, whoa, something nasty here telling me to die. And then it goes to Princess Di, die. So Princess Di at the time was young and vital, so of course I'm skeptical. Oh yeah, sure she dies. How does this happen? And then it responds with car accident. Yeah, right, like a princess could get killed in a car accident. Where's this car accident? It says Paris. Yeah, right, what the hell is the Princess of Wales doing in Paris? So okay, so when's it going to happen? And it types out Ohio. I had a trip to Ohio planned in the coming weeks, so sure, whatever, Princess Di will die in a car crash in Paris while I'm in Ohio. Yeah, right. I go to Ohio, nothing happens. I forget about it. Just one of these weird Ouija sessions that happens every once in a while. A month or so later, I'm in Ohio again. I come out to the living room and everyone's watching TV, glued to a news report. What I ask? Princess Diana killed in the accident. I was stunned.
And that was a car accident
Yeah, she died in a car accident in Paris.
in the tunnel, yeah.
That's crazy.
Allegedly.
So, okay. All right. So that was one where they predicted the future and came true, sadly.
So yeah, so he says throw away the Ouija, but I didn't follow up on it, but I'm assuming he would keep the Ouija board after that and try to predict some more things.
Right.
2001's right around the corner.
I was gonna say, is this actually like Ouija gone wrong, or Ouija in the one case going right?
Right. No one's gonna believe a guy who lives in Ohio that Princess Diana's gonna die anyways, so not much he could do about it.
Well, he didn't live in Ohio. He was visiting.
Well, a guy in Ohio.
Right. I remember where she died. It was very sad. It was very disturbing.
She must have been a great lady because I remember a lot of people say that too.
Yeah.
Where they remember where they're at.
I remember, and I do think, to some degree, that it was set up. She was set up to be murdered.
Yeah, my favorite conspiracy theory is that she set it up and she's living on an island somewhere. I'm like, I wish that was the case.
Yeah, that would be nice.
With Elvis.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
No, Elvis was like 30 years prior, 20 years prior.
Yeah, he's out there.
He's still on the island.
It's like
Okay.
some top secret private celebrity place for people to go so they don't get fucked with.
Well, I hope they have tacos. All right, Polar Bear, what you got?
So, Slasher Sam mentioned the name Zozo. And I'm going to tell you a little story about Zozo. All the information that I got was from allthat'sinteresting.com. And it is about a man named Darren Evans. So he wrote a story about using his Ouija board, coming in contact with a demon. So this story first surfaced in 2009 online. Since then, there's been a book written about it, as well as a movie about Zozo called I Am Zozo. And, I didn't watch it because it had really low reviews. But it might be worth a shot.
Maybe it was, what was his name, Devin?
Darren.
Darren's version with his, YouTube channel.
Yeah. So, Darren was playing with a Ouija board. I'm assuming he broke the rules because he was playing alone until it began spelling out Z-O-Z-O-Z-O just over and over again. It would go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And as Sam previously mentioned, that he should have said goodbye and
got the fuck out of there.
burnt it. So, yeah, he kept saying Z-O-Z-O over and over again, scaring the living crap out of him. After questioning Zozo for a bit, the demon said he wanted to take Darren's family to paradise. And confused and scared, Darren was asked, well, where's paradise? And the demon spelled out H-E-L-L.
How old is
hell.
Darren?
He's mid-20s, I think, because he has a wife and kid.
Okay.
So then the board spelled out a bunch of curses and even some gibberish that Darren thought looked a lot like Latin or Hebrew. Darren ran to the bathroom to check on his family where his wife was giving his daughter a bath. His wife was nowhere to be found, and his 1-year-old daughter almost drowned in an overflowing bathtub. Darren also blames the demon for sending his daughter to the hospital later on with a mysterious infection.
Like they didn't know what was causing it or where the infection was in her body?
Yeah, it didn't clarify on that, but yeah.
Okay.
Not the only time he came in contact with Zozo. He kept he kept talking to him, and sometimes when he used the Ouija board, Zozo tried to pretend he was somebody else. He was answering questions like he's a different entity or a spirit, but then, selfish demons.
Right. They want the attention for themselves.
Right. Ended up breaking down and,
Telling the truth.
Yeah. So Darren is not the only person that had an encounter with Zozo. Hundreds of people reported to have supernatural encounters with the demon, and the story stays fairly similar throughout the cases, that the Ouija board bounces back and forth between Z-O-Z-O-Z-O. So I kind of wonder if that rule about talking to Zozo was created when the Ouija board was created, or did that get implemented after the incidents of ZOZOZO?
That's a good question.
So whether it is a real demon out on a prowl for supernatural enthusiasts trying to make contact with the spirits or made up entity of fiction, it was enough to give me the chills and keep this guy away from the Ouija board.
This
This guy?
This guy.
This bear.
Yeah. And I kind of looked into it a little further. I read into it. There was a little story about Zozo. This is a direct quote from the website. Creepier still is that the name Zozo has shown up for more than 200 years. The oldest Zozo story comes from an 1816 book, Dictionnaire Infernal, by Colin de Plancy. De Plancy tells the story of a young girl who claimed to be possessed by 3 demons named Mimi, Couplet, and Zozo. And the direct quote from the book is, the girl went down the street on all fours, sometimes forward, sometimes behind. Sometimes she walked on her hands, feet in the air, at the risk of putting passers-by in the confidence of her position.
Where was that from?
That was from Dictionnaire Infernal by Colin de Plancy. They ended up actually doing an exorcism on her. And when the Zozo demon left her body, it was said that the window in the room shattered.
I think The Exorcist, she was playing with the Ouija board.
Yeah, I read that too.
But I don't, because it was actually based on a boy being possessed. And I don't remember if the boy had been playing. Yes, he was. He was playing with the Ouija board with his aunt. So, okay.
Yeah, it does say Zozo's the Ouija board demon. But in case you guys care, because I care, Ghost Adventures actually has a Zozo episode.
They
Okay,
Oh.
I love Ghost Adventures.
Ghost
I'll right back off
Adventures
of
is
it.
not the one you guys like. That's not the plumbers, is it?
No, that's
Ghosts.
Ghost Hunters.
Ghost Hunters.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
They're like
but
the
r-
OGs.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the OG guys that set it up.
Yeah.
They walk so
Oh,
other
just the
people can run.
pipes.
No, Ghost Adventures is the guy that's always like, he has the big
Is
glasses.
it the bro guy?
Yeah, and he's always like,
Oh,
oh,
okay.
today we're at a hotel. And he's like, come at me. I hear you attack women.
Yeah, you
He's
fucking
so
pussy. He
dumb.
goes hard.
He's so
Sometimes.
awesome.
And a bag
I
of
mean,
chips.
he's the one making money off a TV show. I'm the one sitting behind the table. So.
Well, and he has a ton of properties and has now the Haunted Museum in Vegas, which actually looks really interesting and
Mhm.
kind of cool. I wouldn't give him the privilege of my money, but
I'll,
I want
I'll
to.
watch you and go to your nice places, but I will not like.
I'm not gonna enjoy a minute of it.
That's exactly how I am.
I'm going to hate this place. All right. So my story comes from Thought Catalog. It was an article provided by Christy Stockton, and it was updated last June 22nd, 2021, which kind of made me laugh a little bit, like updated. Like, did you hear more from the stories? So anyways, so I'm going to quote the story called Creepy Doll. I have a terrifying story about a Ouija board. I got a call from my cousin who said that he, his brother, his dad, and his best friend were using a Ouija in their basement. Prior to starting, they took a large porcelain doll out of the room because it was creepy and placed it in an adjacent room face down in a pile of towels. My cousin took a short break because the board was just spouting nonsense and he went to take a shit.
Oh, God. Thank you for quoting
Direct
exactly.
quote.
Direct quote.
His dad and brother and friend started asking the board questions without him. One of the questions was, who is in the other room? It just started spouting random numbers, and when my cousin came back into the room, his brother said that it wasn't working and that they were going to put it away, and he showed him the last answer to the last question he asked, and he said, dude, that's my social security number. And then they started to talk to whatever started spewing answers out. It told my cousin he would die in the Air Force. At this point, they tell the entity they are communicating with to prove it. It then spelled out the word doll, and they were like, what the fuck? They opened the door to check on the porcelain doll they laid in the other room, And when they opened the door, the doll was standing upright in front of the door, staring at them. Everyone freaked out and ran out of the house. His best friend burned the Ouija board, and I think he temporarily whipped nuts for a few months. My cousin, for some reason, then joined the Air Force and is based in Europe now.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So
join a different branch or something. Jeez.
they did everything they were supposed to do. They burnt it, and then he joined the Air Force. Did they even close it out? We don't know.
No, they didn't even say goodbye.
I would think not if they burned it.
No, they probably panicked and said, "We're burning this fucker now."
Oh, God.
So,
Hmm.
so that is that story. So lots of mistakes on a
That's
lot of
funny.
people's ends here. I do actually have another one. You guys want to hear it?
Yeah.
Another one
people
from
do.
the same article. What?
I said the people do.
The people do.
Give the people what they want.
Another story from the same article is called Choked. I have no evidence, and I don't care if you don't believe me. I've used a board with results and let something into my room and have been physically assaulted by this entity. It started out with the feeling like you're being watched and doors closing and footsteps on the hardwood when you're home alone, and progressed slowly to being kept awake by something shaking the bed or pulling off your covers. Sometimes even whispering your name. The board would disappear for days on end and then show up in places you never would have put it. I became obsessed with it. Then it was a black mass in the corner of the room, or the silhouette of a man watching you from the doorway. After that, it escalated pretty quickly. I had my hair pulled, fingers pricked, scratched, choked, held down in bed while this thing whispered in my ear in what could have only been Latin. We had our house blessed, and the bad thing hasn't shown back up. Just the normal occurrences now. But I will never again play with one of these boards. And here's the thing. I don't understand what they mean with just the normal occurrences. What does that mean? Like there's levels?
Yeah, it's like when the doctor asks you how much pain you're in.
Yeah,
You just
the regular amount.
The
of pain.
regular amount of pain. It's just normal stuff. Like there should be no regular pain.
All right, last one from the same one. It's labeled the wood chipper incident. My aunt.
Put that in the bloopers.
Yeah. So you got yourself all fuckered up.
I know. My great aunt has never married, and when I asked why, my dad told me the story. Apparently, when she was 16, she had a pretty serious boyfriend. When she used a board, she asked if they would get married, and it said no. She asked if they would break up. No. Asked if one of them would die, and it said yes. And when she asked which of them, it said goodbye. Like, it shut itself out, which I have actually had done with me. But anyways, a week later, he was in a wood chipper incident at the mill where he worked.
Oh shit! Did you fall in?
Well, he's gone, basically. Reminds me of that moment in Earl versus
Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
yeah.
Earl. I was like, my name is Earl. I don't know any wood chipper from that show.
I love that he speaks your language. I had
Right.
no idea what you were talking about, but he caught on really quickly.
I think we brought up Tucker and Dale versus the world.
Evil.
And probably
Versus
every
Evil.
podcast that I've
Yeah.
ever
100
seen.
Yeah.
times,
So,
yeah, that's
yeah.
true.
All right. So hopefully those stories will deter you from partaking in any.
Or use it. Fuck it.
Actually,
it.
use it. I want to know.
No.
I want more stories.
We need another cleansing of the world, so fuck it.
Okay. All right.
That was dark.
Ghostbusters are
You ever
getting
gone
old.
to a fucking stacked Walmart? Okay? Fucking sucks.
Getting stuck in traffic
There's no
for
point- yeah.
45 minutes. Yeah.
Fucking traffic. I'm sitting there like someone needs to use a Ouija board right now.
Spiritual cleansing.
Yes, right.
All right. Don't take his advice.
You know I'm right.
So that is what we have for you tonight. On to business.
Facebook.
Facebook.
We have a Facebook page where the Dark Corners are. If you like our podcast, or if you want to like our podcast, please visit our page. If you have any suggestions, please let us know. Question, comments, concerns. What
Yeah,
else?
post on there. Just post on there.
Just post,
Anything.
yeah.
Just post hello. One of us is bound to
Say
respond.
something.
Yeah, I mean, there's no harm in it.
Yeah.
No? We want people to post on it. Like,
Well, paranormal or true crime
or just
related.
post on it. People get to meet and talk on it. You know, it's the worst thing that happens.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Sorry, that's what social media was originally used for.
Copyright.
Yeah.
You don't have to be lonely at where the dark
The
corners are.
But you can send us an email with your suggestions.
Yeah.
At where the dark corners are at gmail.com. And Panda, by the way, hates this whole idea.
That's a
of,
long email. Have you typed that out?
yes, several times.
It's too much.
We
All
thought
right.
about abbreviations. WT.
DCA.
See, you already got it.
Yeah, I know.
WTDCA.
It's taken.
There's no way.
What's it got?
21.
All right, final thoughts, Panda.
I stick by my statements.
Stay
Use the
away.
Ouija board.
Stay away.
Oh, well, I'm not using it. You all can use it. I ain't gonna come over.
Okay. Polar Bear?
Not a lot. I mean, just listen to the rules.
Yeah, fucking follow
Use
the rules.
responsibly.
Okay, all right.
Use responsibly.
Slashers?
I mean, I really got nothing. I'm starving, so my mind is all on where I'm going to eat. So
Okay.
that's where I'm at right now.
She was helpful.
Ask the Ouija board. Where should I
Yes.
eat?
Do you have a Ouija board here?
I might actually.
Spells toggle. What? You what? You do?
I'd be like, try again.
It's listening.
Yeah, like Alexa. All right. So until next time, please remember, only the few can find the beauty in the darkness, which is where we hope to meet you, where the dark corners are. We heard that.
Oh, I thought you already turned
No,
it off.
why
I
would
think
I
it
turn
was
it
the
off?
dog, so it's not his
All
fault.
right, we're gonna
It's
try it
the
again.
dog.
Really gotta do all that? Oh.
Facebook.
No,
Just the outro.
just the number, the music. Here we go. I'm gonna cut that out because you're bringing
Why?
us
Oh
up.
wow, Joe
What?
Lord.
That's the
You're
controversy.
cut from the episode.
That's the controversy behind it. That's the thing.
Okay.